Yes, we can able to see your screen, Lakshmi.
Yeah. Thanks for the confirmation. Chief, before moving to the DBT, as everyone aware of, like now the organizations are much uh, more keen about to the data, like how in the generic like how they wanted to load the data, and how before approaching the ETL or the ELT traditional approaches, they wanted to move ahead. uh, as we aware, like DBT is a data transformation tool where we'll perform all the transformation operations. And coming to the in the today's the demo session, like I wanted to cover the combination of the transformation tool as well as the on top of that, the version control tools as well as the ticketing tools, like how the process starts when we start our career as a data analyst or an data engineer. Okay. And coming to the data maturity model, see, these are the objectives, like when we start means like interacting with the DBT. And as we aware, like the data maturity, it's a kind of the measurement for any organization, like how advanced a company is focusing on the data analysis. It's nothing but a high level maturity, like what stage our data has been reached, means how the data has been woven, whether it was deeply it was fabricated into the organization, when the data has become incorporated in every decision making. So that was related to the data maturity. And coming to the DBT and the data architectures, like how DBT was collaborating with the Snowflake and with the other the cloud data warehouses. And coming to the data warehouses and data lakes and lake houses, like means like how we are integrating our DBT with the cloud data warehouses. As we are aware of that, the cloud data warehouses of like or one was like Snowflake, and the other two were the Google BigQuery, which was means like adopted by Google, and the other one is like Amazon Redshift. And we have a different approaches, like when we organize our data. Okay, like one is the ELT and the other one is the ETL. Okay, and on top of that, like we'll cover the basic DBT fundamentals, like how it will collaborate with the analytics engineering. Analytics engineering is nothing but like the data engineer as well as the data analyst. Data engineer works works on the data, whereas the data analyst, okay, will try to improvise their data based on the data engineer develops the data. And coming to the differences, like where what is ELT and what is the ETL, can anyone address like what is the most trending the approach, like current organizations, or I think everyone are working in
ELT,
their real
Lakshmikant.
times? Okay.
ELT.
Okay, I just wanted the majority number of the votes. I think almost like 14 resources, 14 folks have joined the meeting.
Lakshmikant,
Just wanted to know.
I have a query.
Mhm.
This DBT only work with the cloud databases or warehouse or on-premises also, like Oracle, SQL Server as a target.
Uh, See, the most of the we can say it works with both, but as of now, everyone are moving from on-prem to the cloud data warehouses, right?
Yeah, that I know,
So
but I'm talking of the capability of this DB2. I mean,
no, capabilities, like most of the things was works with only the DBT cloud.
so any database which is there in the cloud, then we can integrate with the DBT. That is what
Even
you are.
no, even the on-prem data also. See, suppose we have the traditional data warehouses like Oracle or SQL Server,
Mm.
so we can integrate the data by using the DBT, and we can
to the ETL.
Load, yes, we can load the data by using the ETL or the ELT approach to the cloud data warehouses. Nothing but the Snowflake would be our target destination systems, and it could be the Amazon or it could be the Google BigQuery.
So target always it will be the cloud
Cloud,
only, not on
yes.
premises.
See, on premises also we can do that, but nowadays, like nobody are. See, when the trend was shifted from on-prem to the cloud, why again the people will expect to move back to the on-prem?
Yeah, agreed. I'm just asking capability. That's it.
No, the capability. See, the major focus of the DBT capability is like moving ahead to the cloud data warehouses rather than the on-prem data. See, I can give the best example. Like I think now everyone were more curious to use the Android or the iOS phones, right? They don't want to go back to the old days like the Nokia 1100 or the QRT phones, right? Maximum 90% of the market has been acquired with the Android phones. In the same way, now everyone, all the organizations are moving ahead only towards the cloud approaches rather than the on-prem, the traditional approaches.
Okay.
Still, I didn't get any sort of the votes towards the ETL or the ELT approaches. Fine, I think the people are more hesitate to like vote either for the ELT or the ETL approaches. See, now we'll just go through the further the slides, then we can easily make understand everyone. Now, see, as we are aware of, like we have a different data sources, like for, it could be Oracle or SQL Server or whatever the sources. When we get the data, usually the ETL approach is like what we do. We'll extract the data, we'll transform it, and then we'll load it to the target systems. Okay, the everything, the extract and transformation will move it to the data warehouse. So from there, we'll load it to the target systems. It could be the SAP systems, or it could be the CRM systems, or it could be any reporting tools, or for any for any reporting team, if you want to analyze the data. So what we do, we'll do the transformations, and we'll share the curated data to the reporting system to teams. So that was the ETL approach. When it comes to the ELT approach, we do the same operations, but the only thing is that before doing the transformations, first we'll load the data to the data warehouses, then we'll start performing the transformations. Then we'll share the output or the outcomes with the reporting teams, or with the with the Tableau, or with the Power BI end users. The minor approach between the ETL and the ELT is the majority of the organizations are running ahead as of now only with the ELT approach rather than the ETL approach. As everyone aware, like the data storage becomes more cheaper and cheaper rather than the previous years. Due to that, everyone are behind of the ELT approach rather than the ETL approach, because what they do, they uh, first they'll extract the data. Okay, then they load it into the raw layer. Once the data is available in the raw layer, what they do, they'll start doing the transformations. Whichever the data they wanted to transform it, suppose if we have the 100 trillions of records in one table. Okay, think that in one database we have the tons of data. So if you want to transform that data, if you follow the ETL approach, okay, if something went wrong during the transformations, if you go ahead with the ETL approach, the data, after performing the transformation approach, if you want to load it, if something went with the transformation, again we have to extract the data from the from the sources, then we have to do the perform the transformation, and we have to load it. So if we move ahead with the ETL approach, every time we have to extract the data, we have to do the transformation, then we have to load it. So this is a kind of a challenging, and it's an the cost or the performance would impact towards the data. So the organizations have preferred to move ahead only with the ELT approach. See, in the ELT approach, the advantage is like once we extract the data, then no point of extracting the data again and again. But in the ETL, we have to extract the data if something went wrong with the transformation. So that was one major advantage which we have with the ELT approach. What once after storing the data in the raw layer, whichever the data is required, we'll pick it up. Only that data will do the transformations. Then we'll load it to the target systems, and those data can be utilized with the BI team, all the reporting teams like Tableau, Power BI, ClickSense, SAP, whatever the source systems, destination systems, they can utilize that data. So this was the major difference between the ETL and ELT. Currently, all the organization trends are moving ahead with the ELT approach itself only. And coming to the DBT, DBT, as everyone aware of, like it's a transformation tool. Once the data has been loaded into the raw layer, all the data transformations can be done in the DBT. Then will deploy or will integrate those changes to the target systems and will perform all the DML operations, DDL operations in the DBT, where we'll do the transformations. So the DBT stands for Data Build Tool, and it is an open source tool. Okay, that is used for the transforming and modeling the data in the data warehouses. And this is a popular tool among the data engineers as well as the data analysts, because it allows us to write the SQL code in a modular way to for the reusability. Like we can reuse the code again and again. And here in the DBT, we can define the transformations and models as an SQL queries. Then we can use those models to build the reports, to build the dashboards, and the other data products, like what we can perform the operations. And it is also easy to manage the entire transformations process from source data to the final output. And one key feature of the DBT is like it allows us to define the models as a code. Whatever the code we have, right, that we can define it as a model, and those models can reuse wherever we want within the DBT, and this makes us easy to maintain the consistency and to reduce the duplication of your code. So these are the what we can say that for example, like it includes the built-in support, like for the version control tool, and we can do some sort of the testings before uh, loading the data to the target systems. And this allows us to track the changes of the data transformations pipelines over the time and ensure your code is working as expected. Overall, the DBT is a powerful tool for transforming and modeling the data in our data warehouse. It allows us to write a SQL code. So in simple terms, just remember in the ETL pipeline, the DB2 we use, the DB is nothing but the data what we are building. We are doing the transformation operations in the DBT. And see, like everyone will have a question like where exactly the DBT fits in the modern data architecture. See, when it comes to the data loaders, so these are the source systems where they load, where we'll extract the data or where we load the data. Once we extract the data, all the data has been dumped into the raw layer. Okay, once the data is available in the raw layer, exact operations or the approach will start from the DBT, where we'll do all the transformations. Okay, once the data has been transformed, then once the transformation is done, all the data can be utilized, and the end users or the end application end users. It could be the Power BI, or it could be the Tableau. And when we start performing or doing any sort of approaches towards the transformation, by default we have a version control tool. If suppose if you are developing a few models, today Venkat would have developed one model. Tomorrow I'll be editing or doing some sort of the enhancements for the existing models, or if I'm building a new model. So like how we'll track all those changes when it is moving from dev environment to the QA and QA to prod. So to track all these changes, we have a version control tool. Based on that, like we can identify like who had changes the model, who had built this model, and what the enhancement uh, uh, has been overcome towards the model. So these changes can be identified through the version control tool. That is nothing but the Git, like which will cover as a combination of this DBT during our upcoming sessions. And coming to the DBT, like we have two sorts, as everyone aware, like one is the traditional and the other one is the cloud. And the DBT, the transformations, all the transformations can be covered under the DBT core, which is again, it's a kind of the command prompt, which is a CLI version, and it's completely free. And we can execute our the transformations by using the putty. And the only thing is, with the DBT core, we have a limitation versions, and there is no lineage. Okay, coming to the lineage, whenever we build whenever we build a model, or if we write a piece of code, once the code get executed, once we perform the transformation operations, the lineage diagram will get generated. The lineage diagram states that it's a flow chart, how the data is performing, how the data is approaching from source system to the target systems. It's a kind of a flow chart for our pipelines, data pipelines. And in the DBT core, there is no scheduling, and we need to depend on the third party tools for the scheduling our jobs or scheduling our models. So this is a disadvantage with the DBT core. And coming to the DBT cloud, it's a kind of the browser based, what we can say is the DBT cloud. It's a freeware. No need to install any connectors, or no need to install the Python to execute our Python scripts when we integrate our transformation models with Snowflake data. So these are all we can work the DBT transformations either in the DBT cloud or the DBT core. But in our upcoming sessions, or in our course, we'll go ahead with the DBT cloud itself rather than with the DBT core. Because like if you want to perform any sort of the transformations in the DBT core, first we need to install the connectors. If you are executing any Python scripts, then we need to go ahead with the Python connectors. And every time we have to keep on updating our Python, the Python code. If you are doing any sort of the, if you are adding any sort of the new libraries, again you have to upgrade your Python. So rather than that, we can prefer the DBT cloud in the upcoming sessions. And coming to the course, what and all the things will cover in the DBT, the curriculum is we'll go ahead with the account setup, like the DBT cloud rather than the core configuration setup. And we'll show how we are integrating our DBT with Snowflake, and we'll load some sample data to perform all the transformations during our sessions. And we'll discuss about the DBT models, like how we need to create a model, how we need to exact it, how we need to execute it. And coming to the DBT test, like how many ways we can test the models after building the models, after executing the models, like how, in what way we need to perform that test for single models. And we'll discuss about the materializations are, again, it's an most important topic, like where we'll cover it in the upcoming sessions. And DBT seeds and sources. When it comes to the seeds, seeds are nothing but, as in the generic term, everyone are aware of the seed is nothing but, if it's manually loading the data. Manually loading the data is nothing but a seed. And we have a different cloud features, like we'll discuss so far in the upcoming sessions. And we have a Jinja. And the other thing is like the documentation part, like whatever we build the models in the DBT, each and every model we can get the document. It's why we go ahead with the documentation. Suppose the we have ended up our project in future, for the auditing purpose, we required the documentation, because we were not pretty sure what changes have been implemented, or what enhancements have been implemented for the existing models. So in that scenario, we'll go ahead with the docs. We'll call it as an docs, whereas it's a documentation for each and every model. And we'll show how we'll load the data. And we'll work with macros. And the snapshots is like nothing but, within the time frame, there is a range between months or years, or to analyze the data for the business analyst. So what we do, instance, we'll create some snapshots, and we work with hooks, and we'll work with the analysis part. And on top of that, at the end of this course, we'll cover the Colis is another transformation tool, which is completely GUI, graphical user interface. Nowadays, the Snowflake is promoting more and more, rather than the DBT. Uh, they are promoting the Colis. People can call us Kolsek, Colis, or they'll pronounce it in a different way. But nowadays, the Snowflake, the Colis is a transformation tool, as everyone aware of the Colis Windows function in SQL.
Okay.
So this is the roadmap, like where we are going to cover all these topics within a month.
So Coles is spelling COLESC, right?
Yes, Colis. It's an Windows function.
Yeah,
Let
yeah,
me.
yeah.
I think people would have aware, those who have worked with the SQL background. And we can see, it's
Sir,
all
it
the
is a
practical
DBT.
sessions. Yes.
DBT is a, sorry if I joined late.
Yeah. Please, please.
DBT, it is a database or ETL, or I not getting what it is.
It's a transformation tool, Venkatesh. DBT is nothing but a transformation tools. See, every data has been available at your data warehouse. Once the data has been extracted by using the ETL or the ELT approach. Okay, once the data has been extracted, for the transformations, means converting your data formats, file formats, your logics, all the transformation parts. Once the transformation has been done, then we'll deploy those models, and we'll integrate it with Snowflake, and deliver will deliver, or will deploy those to the Snowflake.
Lakshmikant.
Okay, but it is only tool or means like a Ab initio Informatica. It is different
See,
than DBT.
it's what we can say is like in Informatica, what it is, what we do there, we'll extract, we'll do the transformation, then we'll load the data. Okay,
Yes,
here
yes.
we'll do only that. Here in the DBT, here we'll do only the transformation parts. We'll do only the transformation parts. See that's how it became very popular, and this is an open source. It's a freeware tool. Okay, so that's the reason. Like every organizations are running behind the DBT tool.
Okay,
It
only here
have its
doing
yes.
loading only.
No, we are
Sorry,
not doing
transformation.
the loading. Yes,
O-
only the transformation part.
Okay, where we are loading the data?
See, loading the data and all, as everyone aware, like they have their own uh, approaches. Few people are loading the data from by using the snow pipe. That is one approach, and few organizations uh, are developing their own frameworks, the Python frameworks. See, in my current organization, our client, or rather than for the cost consumption, what they did, in sense, rather than utilizing the snow pipe, they are loading the data by using the frameworks. They have developed their own Python frameworks to load the data. Once the data has been loaded to the raw layer, to the Snowflake raw layer, what they do from the cloud data warehouse, they'll do the transformations on the raw data. Once the transformations have done, then they'll push it back, or they'll deploy those to the destination Snowflake.
Okay, Lakshmikant, you said call sec tool, right?
Yes.
So how about in the market? I mean, is it good DBT with combination of call sec, or maybe we low take
See,
DBT call sec after some time?
I'll tell you the exact difference. Uh, uh, See how I can differentiate, in the sense both do the same transformation part. The only advantage comparing to the DBT, the Colis is kind of advanced. Those who have the hands-on knowledge on DBT, then it is very easy. I can guarantee it. Like all the guys who have the knowledge on DBT can adopt the Colis tool within a day.
Okay, so DBT is more kind of scripting, right?
Yes,
But
it's
Colis
also the scripting.
scripting,
Yes.
yeah. But Colis you said GUI,
Yes, it's completely GUI.
kind
If
of
you aware
Informatica,
of
drag and
yes,
drop
yes, yes,
tables.
yes. Let me clear you. I think if you are from the Informatica background, then you would have been worked with SSIS and SSRS, right?
No, no, I know ODI.
Okay, ODA. Then good. At least like you have a background, like how they do. As you said, it's an, if you aware of the material, like how they do the drag and drop, the objects. We'll call
Yeah.
it here. We'll call it in the DBT as a model. Model, in sense, it could be a table, or it could be a view, or it could be an materialized views, right? In the same way, when it comes to the colis, Colis is also an the transformation tool that was promoting by the Snowflake, because they are the channel partners. Once you log in into the Snowflake account, try to search it. If you search the Colis, then you'll clearly come to know, saying that it's a channel partner with the Snowflake. Say with the direct channel partner. Nowadays the organizations are also running behind the colis tool, but the only thing is like with the colis, the advantage is like it will be easy for the developer or for the data engineer. Like however we generate a lineage is nothing but a data flow, how the column, or how the table, or how the view from source to target, how the data is getting flowed through a pipeline, right? In the same way, whatever the lineage we get generated, once your model is ready, in the same way the colleague will also have a column lineage for every node. There we have a regular node, there we have a both nodes. In the colis, we'll call as a nodes. When it comes to the DBT, we'll call it as a models. Model
Okay.
is model can be a table, model can be a view. By default, if we won't mention anything in the materialization part, what would be our model? So those all can be discussed under the materialization topics.